We at the Center for Creative Leadership pride ourselves on our global diversity and ideology of equity and inclusion. In our ongoing actions to move beyond bias, we need to address the generational gap that is present in our current hybrid work model. Our agenda is simple: to redefine how we work, address ways to make the hybrid work model function across generations, and assemble research and resources and a timeline for these actions. What is the Center for Creative Leadership, and how do we work? Leadership institutions are diversified organizations that have faculty whom conduct research, write and develop content, including programs. Much of this work is monetized via custom programming, coaching, publishing, and symposiums. Faculty is supported by teams and managers and operational support staff on brick and mortar campuses. The post-pandemic work model that we employ is largely hybrid, but bias challenges are evident. Do different generations within management have preconceived ideas of work ethic? What opportunities does remote work bring to the table for different age demographics? Will employees be recognized solely because they are in office, overlooked because they are remote? How will employee hybrid work choices affect succession plans? How can employees demystify the elements of remote work models? The Center for Creative Leadership's workforce is comprised primarily of 4 generations: Gen Z, Gen Y or Millennials, Gen X, and Baby Boomers. Here is what they have to say. Generation Z says, "The flexibility of being able to work from home some days is the reason I took this job. The pandemic reinforced the fact that I can be successful in my job without having to commute every day." Millennial: "I would not take a job today that wasn't hybrid or remote. I don't think I could handle the strain of a commute, the cost of gas, clothes, and mostly time. Not having to travel to work saves me at least 2 hours a day." Generation X: "I used to come into the office every morning until I realized that no one cares. If these 30-year-olds can work from home and get promoted, then why am I bothering with a commute?" Baby Boomer: "I think putting on nice clothes and going to a place of work where work gets done makes you do better work, connect with coworkers on a more interpersonal level, and create a team. I don't like to engage face-to-face in Zoom meetings where their cameras are turned on, and Gen Z and Gen Y should be called the silent generation." The impact of this generation gap is evident within communication breakdowns between generations, perception of generational bias from management, and loss of best hires if a hybrid model is replaced. If institutions need to redesign the work model, then letting go of brick and mortar thinking is crucial, says the Boston Consulting Group. Hybrid work requires increasing engagement and communication between teams and their managers. Hilberath: "Restructuring within the hybrid work model comes organically and is based on the nature of flexible, digital, and purposeful work, but how management treats employees within that structure determines its success or failure." Ranassis: "If 59% of workers are factoring in remote work when job seeking, then companies will lose viable candidates if they don't employ a hybrid work model." Zappia: "A newfound sense of freedom, empowerment, and creative spark has been ignited in hybrid workers." Waltow: "How did we arrive at this generational juncture? Like many things, the generation gap of the hybrid work model was discovered during an EDI survey and led to further investigation. In researching this presentation, I interviewed 10 employees from the Center for Creative Leadership from an array of generations and diverse backgrounds, jobs, and levels of tenure. The key stakeholders within our organization with the power and know-how to help us move beyond bias are our CEO and President, Martin Schneider, Chief Human Resources Officer, Deirdre Robinson, David Altman, Chief Research and Innovations Officer, and Michael DePaz. He is our President of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. The stakeholders, along with managers and colleagues, can help us initiate a plan of action that will include creating a hybrid workforce coalition for generational alignment and conducting research on generational gaps in workplace models. I propose creating a coalition of leaders, including IT managers, executives, and team leads, to work with generational cross-communication and information regarding the hybrid and remote work models. I also propose working with the research department in reaching across generational work methodology related to hybrid and remote work, and educating workers who don't quite understand the concept of cross-generational shared work and hybrid work models. The proposed timeline is to conduct a global CCL survey and compile data by October 2023. This will include conducting focus groups via team leads throughout the organization, as well as a written survey. I also propose that the research department will begin initiatives to compile data on generational gaps in hybrid and remote workplace models with a December 2023 deadline. I also propose creating a global CCL coalition to create strategies for generational alignment based on surveys and faculty research. Coalition begins to organize data and implement strategies January 2024. The coalition strategies will be shared with research faculty, and they can begin to write white papers, booklets, and create programs surrounding hybrid and remote work models. This will help monetize our internal hybrid work model evolution and increase revenue for CCL. In summary, bridging the generational gap of the hybrid work model will allow the hybrid work model to flow organically. It will also educate, inform, and communicate the hybrid work model methodologies to all generations. We'll keep employees informed while the plan of action unfolds. CCL management will send out regular communiques regarding research findings and updates on best practices for the hybrid work model. Individual assignments, small meetings, training, and small collaborations are prime work from home subjects. Leading effectively staff suggests that duties requiring bigger collaborative efforts, larger in-person meetings, programs, and physical infrastructural work will fall into the category of in-office work. In short, bridging the generational gap of the hybrid work model will flow organically, but it also needs to be crafted and thought about in a long-term strategic scenario. Thank you so much for your time, and here are a list of references that I have consulted in compiling this report.